are considered wildlife, and at the San Diego Zoo, we're all about creating a world where all life thrives. That's plants, that's people, that's animals, all of it. So thank you for being here on this special day. It's Wednesday, but also, as Bing Crosby says, happy holidays to y'all. It's going to be about a 35-minute trip through most of the zoo, starting, as all stories do, at the beginning. This is the front. When you first got here, did anyone notice a bright bird, very conspicuous? If you didn't, here's your second chance. The flamingos are to the right. If you didn't notice the flamingos earlier, I don't blame you. They're only bright orange.
I think the big one is the middle one.
The Flamingo Lagoon has been there actually for, let's see, 1954. That means 70 years. The zoo itself, we're over 108 years old. It was founded around 1916 when Woodrow Wilson was president. If you go to the front of the bus, see that Skyfari Skytram up ahead, number 1. That's also included in your ticket, no additional charge. But some animals at the zoo are older than our zoo. The giant tortoises, Galapagos tortoises, and other reptiles live just below, nearby where that side of the Skyfari is. Things like amphibians as well, smaller mammals, smaller birds. That's sort of the children's side of the zoo, but a lot of stuff to see. Also things like Komodo dragons, so check that out after the tour. As we progress downward, a couple safety reminders. Make sure to keep your hands and feet within the bus at all times. Same goes with your stuff, phones, wallets, water bottles, making sure everything is nice and secure. If you want to stand up, whenever we're stopped or moving very slowly, you're allowed to stand up. Just make sure to hold on to something and keep your feet on the ground. So hold on to something for some stability there. And with that, yeah, let's look around us. So much green. We're in a different area of the zoo already. We like to organize our place into different conservation hubs. That's also how we organize our efforts around the world. We have 8 different conservation hubs that represent different continents and regions. And for our next hub, we're going to go to a place where there is a lot of the largest grass in the world. Now, the largest grass in the world isn't a lawn, it's bamboo. Alongside of bamboo is technically a type of grass. Even though it grows in many continents, it's most associated with Asia, and that's where we are now.
Right there.
Every tour, by the way, is a little bit different, depending on the time of day, how the animals are feeling. You'll see different animals each time you take this tour, and let's see if these ones are out. This is Malaysia, by the way. By Malaysia.
There's nothing over there.
Pull forward a little bit. I know this is a long bus, so I'm going to pull forward for the next segment. I will say, at least from my seating, it's a little hard to see anything moving, so it's one of those days where this particular habitat is a little hard to see. So we will keep on moving. We're going to switch, actually, from Malaysia to Africa. But one more note about bamboo that I want to mention. Not only is it the largest grass, it's also one of the fastest growing plants. Some of these smaller bamboo stalks, tomorrow, will be a few inches taller overnight. Some species of bamboo could grow 3 feet. That's a meter per day, around a meter per day. Amazing stuff. We're going to move to Africa next. You're going to see some water and some forest above. As you're making memories today at the zoo, but in your life you're using part of your brain that is shaped like a seahorse. It's known as the hippocampus. Now, hippocampus, that means seahorse.
Seahorse.
The animal that lives in this water, its name means river horse.
I live
Not
here.
the hippocampus, but the hippo.
What is that?
Hippopotamus, exactly. That's what lives down in the water. So if you're on the bottom level, you might get a glimpse of the underwater feeling. We're at the top level, the surface. There's something else here other than the hippo. If you look farther in, past those palm trees, 2 of them, they have stripes on just their legs.
Oh, zebra.
They might look vaguely like a zebra, but they're not part of the Equidae family. They have something else. So these 2, who's heard of the okapi? A couple people? The okapi is related to the tallest animal at the zoo. That would be the giraffe, exactly. It's more closely related to the giraffe than it is to things like deer or horses. In fact, it's part of the Giraffidae family. It's also known as the forest giraffe. Now, if you want to help okapis, if you want to help all these animals that live in the forests, rainforests of Africa, for example, or the forests of Asia, helping out the trees, that works. Things like recycling paper, recycling wood, using sustainable wood options, or supporting efforts to reforest by planting seeds that'll help. And speaking of trees, another tree
monkeys?
animal. Well, not another.
Monkeys.
Our first
Where?
tree
Over there.
animal, I guess.
Oh, I see.
Our first tree dweller is right over here. Very popular animal, the monkey.
No, it's a type
Look
of
at the
monkey.
tail.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at the end of this monkey's tail, it's kind of ended with orange, reddish. It's called the red-tailed monkey. That's just what it's called. It's also known as the red-tailed blended. But yeah, lives around the Democratic Republic of Congo and central sub-Saharan Africa, swinging through the trees. There are other parts of this tour where we might see some more primates. This is the first one. To the left of the bus, a familiar shape, but with a different color scheme. The Caribbean flamingo was the kind we saw up at the front. That's your classic, you know, what lawn flamingos are modeled after, classic pink flamingo. But they don't always look like that. Coming up next is the greater flamingo. And as you can see, I see a couple individuals already, but I'm going to go forward and see maybe some more of them. This one's a lot lighter, less saturated. It has some pink, but it's closer to white. And we are lined up with them right now. Yell it out if you know something a flamingo eats.
Flamingo.
Yeah, algae, shrimp, exactly. Actually, all those are correct. I think that's algae, shrimp, small crustaceans. They get their color from carotenoid pigments in those foods. And this species happens to have less carotenoid pigment in its diet, less pink. That's called the greater flamingo, found among other places in Africa. Past it, this African species is called the cormorant. Now, there are cormorants all over the world, but this is the white-breasted cormorant, and that one is found in Africa. They're known for being able to dive underwater, and it doesn't just end there for any fish that's trying to swim away. They could continue to swim for almost a minute. Now we're going to continue forward. It's like we're nice and clear. To the left of the bus, up that hill, it looks pretty ordinary, but that's where our veterinarians work. Our animal hospital is just up that hill on the left. Now the prospect of surgery can be daunting, even the simplest procedures, but it can seem more daunting when it happens to someone young, or when it's more invasive, or when it's a species that it's never been done to before. In 1996, one of our orangutans, she was the smallest of her group, she had a heart murmur. We realized she had a hole in her heart. So we gathered a team of surgeons and vets to try to assess the situation, and we decided, okay, well, we'll have to do surgery. It was a 7-hour procedure, the first open heart surgery ever done on a great ape. The end of that story is that she's still around. So Karen the orangutan is still around in treetops away. It was a complete success, first of its kind on a great ape.
Yeah.
Now the most dangerous habitat
Zebra,
for those who
zebra.
ask is on the left side of the bus,
Zebra over there.
seeing the freeways,
Right there.
but that's where the cars are.
Zebra, yeah.
To the right though, members of the genus Equus, what we're looking for next. Equus in Latin, that means horse. An equestrian, someone who rides a horse, right? So in the Equus genus, there's a striped member known as the zebra. That's what you're looking at back there.
Zebra.
That's called the Grebbe's zebra. The largest of them. That's close to 1,000 pounds. For a zebra, that's pretty impressive. Some horses get a little bit bigger, but for zebras, 1,000 pounds. Not bad, not too shabby. Around the corner, some small antelope. In contrast to the largest zebra, we have the smallest gazelle, known as the Spix gazelle. So those aren't babies, they're a little farther in, underneath that shelter. They are 40, 50 pounds, even when fully grown. If you see an antelope with white vertical stripes in there, that's known as a kudu. Lesser kudu, a type of antelope. I've been saying antelope. Antelope are different than deer, different than reindeer. Things like deer have antlers, right? Antlers are more like bone. And further, deer shed antlers each year. But if you're an animal with horns, you'll keep those horns your entire life. On the left side of the bus, let me know if you see anything. Feel free to stand up, just hold on to something, feet on the ground. Sometimes from here, you're able to see the largest land animal that eats meat. Almost like twice the size of a large lion or tiger. On the polar bears right now, sometimes you're able to see them from here. If not, I'll keep on going. I'll let you know if I see them up ahead. But we do have polar bears at the zoo that are on this side. You know, very popular holiday animals, especially. Alright, we're gonna keep on chugging. We're gonna see some more antelopes from the from Africa, and then we're gonna switch to the Americas, that's South and North America. Many people have not heard of the bontebok. Does that sound familiar, bontebok? It's very rare. It almost went extinct from South Africa and it looks kind of like a fancy large goat. It was overhunted to the brink of extinction by local farmers. They thought they were competition for their livestock. And they live all about here. There's one walking along. They have a white mark on their face and tail. Beautiful, luminescent, kind of reddish brown coat. Luckily, one farmer protected them until they were able to be transferred to a national park, where their numbers recovered. Now there are thousands. This African antelope, the big thing about it is its long neck. For an antelope, it allows it to eat up in the trees. This is known as a gyarados. Southern gyarados, it looks like it's crawling into its cave up there.
Puma. What are they, hog riders?
And this is the part where we switch to South America. Since we're in South America, this is not a warthog. It's related though. It doesn't have the same kind of tusks or face shape as a warthog. This is called the peccary instead. So from South America, the Chicoan peccary. And they are related to pigs and other swine.
You don't want to go on that? No.
Hey, look, it's our old friend the Skyfari. This is the other side of it. If you take the Skyfari from here, it'll bring you back closer to the entrance, closer to the exit of the zoo. And again, it's included in your ticket, no additional charge. It's a great view. Unless you're afraid of heights, I really recommend it, especially if it gets later in the day. You get to see some lights.
No.
Alright, to the right side, we have the 4D theater. Right now, it's Rudolph because it's the holidays. The 4D theater is an additional
Cheesy,
feature.
let's get the cheesy
On the
bacon
left side, down below, some of you might be able to see a giant anteater from South America down on that left side underneath the Skyfari area. So if you're ever on this side of the zoo, check that out. Not everyone realizes that's an animal habitat. And another American animal, two of them to the left. Before I get too far forward, see those cats up there on those rocks on the left side? If I go too far forward, I think those in the front will not be able to see it anymore. But those are local animals. Some of you might live near this. These are mountain lions.
Yeah, like
they have other
I can
names.
see
So
them.
try to think of other names for mountain lions. One is a type of shoe-bred. There's also the term cougar as well. So cougars, pumas, ghost cats. The mountain lion has picked up many names because they live from Canada down to Argentina. They live all the Americas. North, Central, and South. We're going to stay in the Americas, but we're going to go back in time. Time travel. It's possible with imagination. Forward time travel, I think the only way to do that really is to go fast. Technically, when you go fast, time around you moves slower compared to an observer. It's a negligible effect unless you're going close to the speed of light. But anyway, I digress. If you're going back in time, imagination is what you'll need. But first, I want to point something out on the left side. For some of those plant fans, we do have some carnivorous plants on this left side, some smaller ones. So I checked that out later on foot. The most probably popular carnivorous plant is the Venus flytrap, found in the distant lands of North and South Carolina. That's where they're native to. Anyway, as we continue, this is where the time travel happens. As we go back centuries and then eventually thousands of years. Once we hit about 10,000, 12,000, it gets colder and wetter. We are now in the Ice Age. Pleistocene epoch. To the right, I see some tusk mold for things like woolly mammoths, an ancient elephant relative.
This.
Well, to the left
This one.
is a modern-day elephant relative. It might look like a potato or a small rodent, but that's known as the rock hyrax. It has tusks. It doesn't have a trunk, but it has tusks. Its skull shape is similar to elephants. It also genetically, when they were testing molecular and genetic evidence, confirmed, yep, this is an elephant relative. It's just very small. It's found all over Africa. This is where you find the 3 different species of hyrax, but this is called the rock hyrax. Now, speaking of Africa.
Oh, it is?
You're telling me they jumped over that? Oh, there's a river.
You know what these are? These are the lions. They're not just found in Africa. There is a small population in Asia. However,
Call them. Call them. Say hello.
there was an American lion that existed, and I think it was much bigger than even the African lion. It was a large lion that lived around here. We also had big cats, like I said. We had woolly mammoths, armadillos the size of VW.
Hey, lion.
And giant ground sloths.
Hey, boy.
The Ice Age was wild.
Hey, girl.
These 2 are
See how far it is
siblings.
about
The one
look
who's
up.
awake, is
Not jumping.
the name's Miss Ellen and her brother Ernest. sleeping down there. If you have cats at home, you probably know this. Cats, they sleep a lot. Even lions. This is true for cats in general. They like to sort of save their energy for the hunt. And if you heard that noise, we have some tropical birds on the left side. We have some tanagers. We have some tropical-looking pigeons. And if you look carefully, there are, okay, up ahead, the second aviary on the left, an enormous blue bird known as the Great Blue Turaco. These are all African species. But like I said, our theme right now is Ice Age animals. And we'll get to another one up ahead. Before we do, one more thing I want to point out. Look at the leaves on this tree. Look at the shape of this tree. It's not your everyday tree. That is only found on the Canary Islands and maybe some parts of Western Africa. This is called the dragon tree. It has dark red sap. Very rare type of plant. Now we're going to continue forward. Some animals survived the Ice Age and continue to live in the Americas. I'm going to be a little bit quiet, as you can see here. So at the top of the bus, the front look down, and I'm going to slowly crawl by.
Oh.
This is an animal that currently lives in the Americas. So see if you can figure out what species she is. Currently in the Americas. Which means she is not a cheetah, because cheetahs currently live in Africa. Leopards also currently live in Africa. So what is she? Perfect. Yep, I heard it. And if you're up top, it starts with a J.
Literally, you
The
can see
jaguar.
her.
That I'm talking about.
She's walked away.
Yep, that is
Look,
what
she
she
like
is.
you.
Her name's Nindiri. That's a female.
Yep, Nindiri.
You know, as big as she is, she's kind of small for her species. The female jaguars tend to be a little smaller, but they can be quite big, 300 to 400 pounds. The largest cat
There's one over there
in
too.
the Americas.
Bear.
The second largest cat in the Americas is the mountain lion that we saw earlier. And then the two
Elephant.
largest cats are, of course, the tiger and lion. There are herbivores as well. Herbivore means you're a plant eater. A very popular herbivore in the zoo is the world's largest rodent. Yell it out if you know that one. 4 syllables. Capybara. Capybara is the largest rodent. They can be the size of a big old
Capybara.
Yeah.
Or even bigger, like a Saint Bernard. At least in terms of weight, the capybara is linked to either side of this square.
Chad's a
don't they?
capybara.
And once you look at
Oh wait, yeah, over there.
enormous light brown guinea pig.
Yo, we so much of
They
that.
are part of the cat family.
Oh, I need to take a picture of that. I need to
Along
take a
with
picture of that.
guinea pigs and maras, other large rodents. This in that glass is not a rodent. That's
No, I
called a
wanna take a
tapir.
picture, like-
Behind that glass over there, and if that tapir had a horn, it might look a little more familiar.
Elephant.
Tapirs are related
Elephant
typically,
over
I
there.
want to take it, like my camera.
Oh,
As big
elephant
as
over there.
capybaras are, they look absolutely tiny compared to the largest land animal on Earth. Now, some of you might have seen the signs as we came in here, but we are in Elephant Odyssey, folks. And the largest land animal currently is the African savanna elk. There's one right there. There's actually a second one if you look farther back to kind of the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock of the bus, back right side. 14,000, 15,000 pounds is the size of
Usually get out of
full-grown
there.
African
Dumbo?
elephant.
Oh, is that Dumbo?
Nothing
Yes.
with a healthy bull. They are just so strong and powerful. They have tusks and large trunks that they can manipulate the world with. They can knock down
Wally,
trees
chillax.
with those trunks. This building, really big building. From here, it looks kind of like a hospital. We have another hospital.